Hey there smartphone fans, welcome back to Smartphone Wars for another honest hands-on review, and today I have here for you absolutely the best phone you can buy right now, hands down. This is the phone you need, this is the phone you want, and it's a phone that you will absolutely never regret buying. It's got those great specs, the Snapdragon 653, 6GB of RAM, that's awesome AMOLED display, Full HD 5.5-inch panel. It's got IP68 water and dust resistance shockproof rating, and this is military standard phone. And on top of that, they haven't left out NFC, the headphone jack, and this has dual 12-megapixel Sony IMX386 cameras and a 16-megapixel front-facing camera as well. And you also get strong Android, multi-language ROM, global 4G LTE and expandable storage. Oh yes, and the phone also supports Qualcomm's Quick Charge 3.0 technology for even faster charging. But now let's begin the AGM X2 review. Well, the trend these days is packing bezel-less displays, very thin balls and actually very thin and slim phones. I found out that lots of people really don't care for that, and they want their phone to have a good grip and to feel solid and reliable. And the AGM X2 does just that. It's one of the most solid, well-built devices you can find on the market, but it's also designed with good aesthetics. Neat touches like the glass back and the brushed metal on the side make this phone really outstanding when you look at it, and they've also not left out any of the rugged features since all sides of the phone are covered in rubber to absorb the shock if the phone falls. And you also get that top and bottom slide bumper. Again, if it falls flat on the display, it will not damage it. And speaking about the display, that 5.5-inch Full HD AMOLED is just as good as you can get on a rugged phone or like any phone these days. Sure, it may not be of Samsung S8 or S7 quality, but it's sure as good as the Samsung S6. And it makes viewing media and playing games a pleasure, also delivering deep blacks, saturated colors, and saves battery life. And speaking about battery life, the AGM X2 6000 mAh battery gets you around 12 to 16 hours of screen on time, with not just watching movies, with some gaming and browsing as well. And thanks to the Quick Charge 3.0 support, you can fully charge the entire battery in just around 2.5 hours. So you get excellent battery life for the price and great display. Moving on, let's talk about the operating system user interface of the AGM X2, which is pretty much close to what you get from stock Android. There is no bloatware on this device, just the AGM Air app. Yes, this phone can measure air quality, air purity, and that AGM Tools sensor, which turns your phone practically in a utility belt. Very handy, very useful for everyday life, and especially for some of you working in engineering and construction as well. This is a full-blown Android 7.1 nougat phone, and it does feature split screen multitasking and screen recording as well. But let's talk more about that VOC, or volatile organic compound sensor. Pop open that lid on the side and you can test the air quality. And if you've been getting some headaches at work, dizziness, it might be because the air is a bit polluted and has volatile organic compounds. If you measure a reading above 200, then you probably should actually consider changing your work environment or directly speaking to your managers, because this air is not fit to work, and there's a big problem all around the world, especially in China and in India because of the smog. And it's nice to have a real tool that can measure that inside your pocket. The AGM X2 also comes with the first, yes, floatable back cover for the phone. This cover is meant so if you're doing canoeing or something, the phone can actually float on the water beside you. And now let's talk more about the performance, because the AGM X2 with the Snapdragon 653 and 6GB of RAM is just as fast and works fluidly with games and your daily tasks than a Samsung S7 or S7 Edge. The AGM X2 software is very light and thus making the phone run absolutely great. But don't take my word for it, you can check out how the phone actually performs, because I always put real life tests in my videos, not just like some YouTubers which, oh, this phone runs great and things like that, but they never actually show you running it. And here you can see the AGM X2 actually working with multi-taps on Google Chrome, opening and closing heavy apps and switching between them, multitasking. And I can tell that the 6GB of RAM is very well put to use here with the AGM X2, since I've not had this phone reload any apps in the background, even when opening all social apps, even Google Chrome, Skype or anything in the background, and even running a game or two as well. So the AGM X2 delivers stunning performance, very close to actually what you get from maybe a OnePlus 3T, and kind of close to OnePlus 5. As you can see, absolutely instantaneously opens any apps besides the most heaviest ones out there, which take like a fraction of a second longer, but still much faster than flagship devices from last year, like the HTC 10 and the Samsung S7 and S7 Edge. And the AGM X2 really doesn't slow down at all with your daily usage. I've never had any issues with it. Absolutely no software, no hardware issues to date. Pretty much amazing experience you can get. Kudos to AGM's software department for that, because since most of you really believe that specs actually matter to good performance, I can tell that the software part matters just as much with it. And here you can actually check how many apps I've opened in the background, and now I'll switch between them for you to see how good the multitasking on this phone is. Very buttery smooth experience. If I have to say, this is basically the OnePlus 5 of all rugged phones out there, and that's fine, kind of nice. I think I'll name my video that AGM X2 review, the OnePlus 5 of all rugged flagships. That just sounds great actually, and you can see it using split screen multitasking. And next up, I'll show you a bit of gaming performance, but as before, I can tell you that this phone does not have any trouble running any of the latest and heaviest 3D game titles on the Android Play Store market. I'm not one of those YouTubers who uses Candy Crush Saga and like Fruit Ninja to test gaming performance. These are all intensive and heavy 3D games that will actually cripple most phones out there on the market if they're not running Helio P25 or Snapdragon 625 or higher. And the AGM X2 delivers quality gaming without any heating issues. If you do like 25-30 minute sections, sure, the phone will get a little bit warm on the back, but it will never get hot. And with a great battery life, 6000 mAh battery, you can get around 8-9 hours of gaming on a single charge if you use it only for heavy 3D gaming. I don't think that the Samsung S8 Active, S7 Active or any rugged device on the market can offer that, but the AGM X2 can. And next up, I have what's probably most of you thinking is the weak point of the AGM X2, which is the cameras. The cameras, both front and back, are much better than you'd think. Camera software provides plenty of options and customizations, but what you actually need is the few modes that are on the forefront. You need the regular shots, the night shots, the portrait modes, and the HDR. And the AGM X2 really excels in all of them without any issues. This is a dual 12 megapixel Sony IMX cameras. There is no just depth of information sensor, or just full-blown two cameras, and one is actually a monochrome sensor. And the camera quality in the photos is amazing. This is in direct sunlight. You can see the dynamic range is just beautiful. It's not the HDR shots. It does have face detection, autofocus, as you can see here. And indoor, outdoor shots are not a problem. If you think there's too much light, just pop in that HDR, and the HDR on the AGM X2 really works wonders. Doesn't overblow anything, but just makes the photo absolutely perfect. What really excels the AGM X2 is its low light performance, especially in macro mode. These shots are all taken in very low light conditions, but they absolutely look amazing. The AGM X2 camera sensor and algorithm are very well tuned for night shots, even in portrait mode. As you can check in here, indoor, outdoor shots, absolutely no problem. In fact, the lower the light, the more the camera impresses, really. You can check out, this is an indoor shot. The level of detail, noise reduction, and general quality much excels from what I was expecting. And the lower the light goes, the better the shots get. I've not seen this good use of dual cameras. This is as good as low light performance as Huawei P10. dual cameras, and this for rugged device something incredible. The front camera delivers again excellent image quality, very usable for social medias, indoors, outdoor shots. I was very pleased with the front camera, and even in practically no light shots I could still make out my face, which is more than I can say for a lot of those front camera phones out there. The AGM X2's video quality is only limited to 1080p at the moment, but the quality is very good and the noise cancellation is excellent on this device. Sure, it doesn't pack 4K, but I don't think this is such a big deal when you have this good video quality. By the way, give thumbs up to my nephew here who's doing awesome on the jungle gym. And indoor video quality is also excellent. I would have liked the AGM X2 as an outdoors phone to have slow motion video, but it doesn't have that feature at the moment. But AGM could update it in the future and just put it in there. And let's wrap it all up for the AGM X2. For me, this is hands down the best phone that combines great performance, great durability, great battery life, all the sensors and features you need like NFC, a 3.5mm headphone jack, great camera quality on the back and on the front as well, very stylish design for a rugged phone, global 4G LTE that works anywhere around the world, you get multi-language stock Android software experience with that cool utility sensors toolbox, and you can also measure the air quality, and no other phone offers that feature. As cons, I can only say that I wish the phone had 4K video recording and slow motion video, but those features can easily be added at AGM with software updates you get, because this phone does support over-the-air updates. You can buy the AGM X2 from the link in the video description below. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe to my channel for more real and honest hands-on reviews on the hardware you want to buy.
Stick around.